Are you tired of falling for people who feel familiar, only to end up feeling disappointed, unseen, or abandoned all over again? You're not alone. Beneath the surface of your choices lies a deeper pattern, one shaped by unconscious beliefs, emotional wounds, and protective habits. In this video, we'll explore the psychological and spiritual reasons why you keep attracting the wrong kind of love, and what it takes to finally break the cycle. Reason 1. You mistake intensity for intimacy. You meet someone and it feels electric. There's chemistry, obsession, the kind of pull that keeps you awake at night. It feels like fate, like finally someone gets you. But that feeling? It's not always intimacy. Often, it's a trauma bond disguised as connection. Because when you've been raised in chaos, neglect, or inconsistency, your nervous system learns to equate unpredictability with love. So when someone triggers that same roller coaster of highs and lows, your body responds with, "This feels familiar. This must be right." But what you're really feeling isn't safety. It's recognition. It's your subconscious meeting something that mirrors your past, not because it's healthy, but because it's known. And until you become conscious of that pattern, you'll keep chasing the rush, instead of the rootedness of real intimacy. Why? You keep craving the wrong kind of fire. The reason you keep choosing the same kind of love, even when it hurts, is because a part of you still believes love must be earned. So when someone is calm, consistent, emotionally available, it feels boring. Your body doesn't recognize it as love because it doesn't activate the same urgency. There's no chase, no high-stakes drama, no fight for attention. But that fight was never love. It was survival. It was the child in you trying to secure love from someone who kept withdrawing. And now, in adulthood, that child still chooses people who recreate that same tension because it gives her a chance to finally win. Only she never does. Because the wrong kind of love doesn't become right with more effort. It just becomes more painful. Real intimacy won't leave you guessing. It won't demand your performance. It won't burn you just to keep you close. It will feel unfamiliar at first, because peace takes time to feel like home when you've only known storms. Reason 2. You're still trying to heal a parent. Through your partner, the unfinished story you keep repeating. Love doesn't begin with your first relationship. It begins with your first bond, the one you had with your caregivers. If that bond was marked by emotional distance, criticism, inconsistency, or neglect, then that became your blueprint for connection. And even as an adult, you unconsciously seek out partners who activate those same wounds. Because some part of you is still trying to fix the original story. It's not that you're weak, it's that you're loyal. Loyal to the younger version of you who still believes, if I can finally get someone like them to love me, then I'll be okay. So you choose the emotionally unavailable man, the critical one, the one who withholds affection, not because you want to suffer, but because you want to rewrite the past. You don't just want love, you want redemption. And that keeps you trapped in a cycle where love is less about connection and more about correction. Why familiar? Pain feels like a second chance. You think you're choosing a new partner, but often you're choosing the same wound in a different body. It's the same emotional hunger, just dressed in different words. And the pain feels strangely comforting, because you're not just trying to be loved, you're trying to win at the love you lost long ago. That's why it feels impossible to walk away. Why you stay longer than you should. Why you keep hoping they'll change. Because it's not just about them. It's about the child in you who still believes, if I'm good enough, patient enough, loving enough, maybe this time they'll choose me. But that's not love. That's reenactment. It's emotional time travel. It's pouring your present self into a past that can never be healed through another person. Your partner is not your parent. And love is not a second chance to be enough for someone who couldn't love you then. You don't need to keep auditioning. You are worthy before the wound, and you still are reason 3. You fear being alone more than you fear being unloved asterisk. The illusion of connection. There's a part of you that would rather stay in a painful relationship than face the silence of being alone. Not because you don't know your worth, but because being alone activates a deeper fear. What if no one ever comes? So you settle, you justify, you romanticize crumbs. You say, he's trying, or it's not that bad, or at least I'm not alone. And slowly, your standards shrink, your boundaries blur, your voice fades. Because the ache of abandonment feels louder than the ache of being unloved. You think you're staying for connection, but you're actually staying to avoid confrontation, not with him, but with the part of you that still believes you're not safe on your own. This fear isn't weakness. It's ancient. It's wired into your nervous system from years of equating love with presence, even if that presence came with pain. Asterisk, when you choose loneliness over liberation, being alone isn't what breaks you. It's the meaning you've attached to it. Because in your mind, alone means forgotten, unwanted, invisible dot, so you cling to what's familiar, even if it's harmful, even if it costs your peace, even if it leaves you hollow dot, you convince yourself that staying means strength. That holding on is love, but holding on to someone who can't meet you isn't devotion, it's delay. It's the postponement of the real love that can only arrive when you've made room for it. When you fear solitude more than self-betrayal, you abandon yourself in the name of being chosen. But you were not meant to be chosen through compromise. You were meant to be met in your wholeness. Aloneness isn't your enemy. It's the clearing, the sacred pause before truth arrives. And in that stillness, you don't find emptiness. You find your reason for. You confuse being needed with being loved, the trap of emotional labor. Somewhere along the way, you learned that to be loved, you must be useful. You became the fixer, the emotional caretaker, a woman who always understands, always gives, always stays, even when her soul is running dry. You feel safest when someone needs you, when they're broken, when they're unavailable, when they're hurting, because then you have a role, you have value, you have a reason to stay, even if you're not being cherished. But that's not love. That's emotional labor. That's carrying someone through their healing while neglecting your own. That's building a relationship on service, not on shared intimacy. And the deeper truth? If you've only ever felt worthy when you're giving, you'll struggle to receive. You'll choose partners who take, because you're still trying to earn what should simply be offered. Asterisk the exhaustion of earning love. You give and give until there's nothing left to give. And still, you wonder why you feel unseen, unmet, unloved. It's because you were taught to prove your worth through effort, not to believe in it inherently. So you choose men who are emotionally unavailable because their lack gives you a mission. It gives you something to fix, something to save, someone to pour into, so you don't have to face the emptiness of never being poured into yourself. You've been taught that receiving is selfish, that your needs are too much, that love is something you earn, not something you receive. But love isn't a transaction. It's not built on sacrifice. It's not sustained by burnout. It's not given to the one who gives the most, but to the one who is most themselves. You are not here to be useful. You are here to be whole. And the moment you stop confusing being needed with being loved, you begin to attract the kind of love that doesn't require your exhaustion as proof reason. 5. You ignore red flags because you're starving for connection. Asterisk the loneliness that lowers standards when you've gone too long without real intimacy. Your heart becomes hungry, And hunger makes you desperate. It convinces you that any attention is affection. That a spark is a sign. That inconsistency is mystery. That a lack of effort means he's just scared, so you stay. You explain. You give benefit of the doubt, again and again. But the truth is, you're not confused because he's complex. You're confused because you're afraid that if you let go, you'll go back to the ache of being alone. So you silence your gut. You overlook the things that once made you leave. You cling to moments, not patterns. You invest in potential, not reality. And all of it is rooted in one silent belief. If I don't hold on to this, nothing better will come. That belief is the real red flag. Not him, not his behavior, but the version of you that keeps settling to avoid your own loneliness. How you teach yourself to tolerate less every time you stay silent about a red flag. You teach your nervous system that discomfort is normal. Every time you explain away neglect or inconsistency, you reinforce the belief that your standards are negotiable. You start to mistrust your intuition, not because it's wrong, but because listening to it would mean walking away. And walking away would mean facing the empty space you fear. So you stay. You shrink. You lower your needs until they no longer feel like needs, just unreasonable expectations. And yet, a part of you aches, not just from what he's doing, but from what you're doing to yourself by staying. But what if the emptiness you fear isn't a void, but a sacred reset? A space where you finally stop abandoning your voice and start honoring what it's been trying to tell you all along? Because the kind of love you crave won't require you to betray yourself to feel chosen. It will rise to meet the version of you that no longer fears the silence. Because she finally hears herself reason 6. Deep down, you don't believe you deserve healthy love *, the invisible ceiling of self-worth. You say you want a man who sees you, respects you, chooses you fully and without games. But when that kind of love gets close, something inside you pulls away. You start questioning it, doubting it, resisting it, because a deeper voice, quiet but powerful, whispers, I don't deserve this. It doesn't matter how many affirmations you say. If the blueprint inside you is built on unworthiness, you will sabotage anything that contradicts it. You'll push away what feels safe. You'll chase what feels just out of reach. Not because you want pain, but because pain feels familiar. And in the world of emotional survival, familiar feels like truth. So you go back to what matches your wound, because wholeness feels like too much, like something that belongs to other women, but not to the girl inside you who was taught that love must hurt to be real. Becoming the woman who believes she's worthy you attract not just what you want, but what you believe you deserve. And if you still carry the imprint that love must be earned through suffering, you'll keep choosing relationships that reflect that pain. You'll ignore green flags. You'll run from calmness. You'll find safety in the chaos you swore you never wanted again. But your soulmate isn't hiding. He's waiting for the version of you that finally says, I am worthy of love that doesn't demand my suffering. This isn't about perfection. It's about permission to rewrite your blueprint, to say no to the old pattern, even when it feels familiar, to stop asking love to prove you wrong, and start becoming the kind of woman who no longer doubts her worth. Because when you stop chasing validation, you create space for devotion. And the love that meets you there won't trigger your wounds. It will tend to them. Reason 7. Part of you is still holding on to the one who let go *, the echo. It blocks. What's next? You tell yourself you're ready, that you've moved on, that you've healed. But in the quiet moments, when no one's watching, when the house is still, you still feel him, not because he was the one, but because you never got to be you in that story. You were always chasing, always proving, always hoping he would finally see what was already there. And now, even in his absence, you're still holding the door open, still hoping for the apology, the closure, the miracle moment where he becomes what you always believed he could be. But that hope? It's not romantic. It's resistance. Resistance to letting go of a love that never fully chose you. Because some part of you still hasn't fully chosen yourself. Asterisk. The courage to let go of almost you can't hold on to him and welcome what's next. The universe doesn't respond to half-closed doors. It waits patiently for your clarity. And clarity begins when you stop negotiating your worth with memories. When you stop replaying old conversations, hoping they'll sound different. When you stop asking why he didn't choose you, and start asking why you kept choosing him even when it hurt. Because the longer you hold on to almost love, the more you delay the arrival of real love. The one that doesn't leave you guessing. The one that doesn't confuse chaos for passion. The one that meets you fully, freely, honestly. But that love needs room. It needs your energy back. It needs your heart present. Letting go isn't giving up. It's growing up. It's stepping out of the story where love was something you begged for, and into the one where love arrives because you finally stopped waiting. Asterisk. You don't keep attracting the wrong kind of love because you're broken. You attract it because you are becoming. Every wrong turn, every heartbreak wasn't meant to punish you. It was meant to awaken you back to the places inside where you still settle, still silence your truth, still trade your worth for company, still confuse emotional labor with loyalty, still hold on to ghosts, while love waits patiently at the door. But you're here now, not just watching, but witnessing. Something in you is shifting, tired of patterns, tired of proving, tired of being tired. And that exhaustion, it's sacred. It's the threshold between the life you've known and the love you're ready to receive. You don't need to fix yourself to be worthy. You only need to choose yourself deeply, consistently, without apology. Because when you do, love won't just arrive. It will recognize you. It will honor you. It will meet you where you finally remembered. I never had to chase what was already mine. Asterisk. If you're still here, it means you're not just tired of heartbreak. You're tired of pretending you're okay with it. You're tired of shrinking, of trying harder than anyone else, of holding it all together for the sake of being chosen by someone who never really saw you. This video wasn't just information. It was a mirror. And if something in you cracked open while watching, know this: you're not alone. So I want to hear from you. What did this awaken inside of you? What pattern are you finally ready to release? What truth did you feel in your bones? Your voice matters more than you've been told. Your pain is valid, even if no one has ever held it. And your story may be the exact medicine another woman needs to hear. If this video touched something sacred in you, I invite you to subscribe. Not because you need more advice, but because you deserve a space where your soul can rest, where your feelings are honored, where your depth is safe, where your healing is not rushed, but witnessed. This is not just a channel. It's a sacred space for women who are ready to stop chasing and start coming home. And I'm so honored you're here. Truly.